All right, so I want to get y'all on here. Look like my camera is a little fuzzy, but that's okay. So good evening, good evening, good evening. I just wanted to allow a couple of people to come on before I actually officially started talking, just to say what I wanted to say today. It is Saturday. It is Saturday, April 5th. Like, Lord. This time and month is going by extremely, extremely fast. But I wanted to jump on because I have a couple of updates for you all that I wanted to share. But then I also wanted to make a statement, right? I also kind of wanted to make a statement. So I did want to allow a couple of people to join. I just set the live up. So I am on Facebook as well as my YouTube channel. So that way, if you needed to watch the replay of it, you can. But the first thing that I wanted to share or update you all is, if you don't know, all right, Chicago, we are having the largest, biggest community day event on Saturday, April 12th. Okay, next Saturday, April 12th, we will be at Harvey College. Okay. We are having free workshops, free classes. We are giving food out. We will have food trucks there that you all can, we'll give you your first ticket. We'll pay for your first meal, right? And then you can get anything else that you want after that, right? But we also will have a kids zone, game zone. We're working on getting a face painter there for the kids. We're also working on the massage area for the ladies zone, right? But we do have vendors, we have classes, we have certain classes that I really want to break down with you all on what we're doing. Okay. Dearborn Realtors Board is the oldest, largest Black trade association here in the city of Chicago. We are a local chapter of NARAB. All right. No National Association of Real Estate Brokers. Okay. Annually, every year we host this big community day. All right. Normally it's in April, second week of April, which will be next weekend. All right. Chicago, what I'm asking you to do, we share a lot of information, right? We share a lot of stuff. We share a lot of posts, but we rarely share information that's going to help somebody else. So even if you are not necessarily looking to be a homeowner, if you're not looking to buy property, if you're not looking to acquire land, great. There's nothing wrong with that, right? But there may be someone here on your social media feed, whether it's YouTube or Facebook, that could use this information that we are bringing to the community and completely for free, right? So one of the things that I'm asking my community that follows me or is watching this video is, all it takes is just to share, right? You don't have to attend, you don't have to come, but sharing this video and sharing this information can really help somebody else, right? The other thing that I want to address and bring up with us as a community, and now I'm just talking strictly to us, the Black community. Okay. The day that we call this Black Wealth. We call this the Black Wealth Tour, right? It's Community Day, but we call it the Building Black Wealth Tour. The reason why it is so focused on building Black wealth is Black home ownership is down. All right. Black home ownership is down compared to every other race and culture. We are lower. Our numbers have not changed. Okay. And that's the issue. All right. That's a problem. If we're not owning homes, we're not buying homes, we're not owning land, right? We're not owning. We cannot just be renters. All right. The other thing that we're talking about that I'm very, very gracious for on this panel is we have two new panels this year. And one is called Men Buy Houses. It may even say Black Men Buy Houses, but it definitely is Men Buy Houses. And then the other one is what we had very popular last year, which was Don't Sell Big Mama's House, which is basically don't sell grandmama's house. Y'all heard me say that a lot. I'm real big on that, right? Not selling Big Mama's house. But what does that look like? right? What does that look like? What does that mean when we say don't sell grandma's house? What can be done? Right? What paperwork could be in place? What could you have done to save your family's house possibly, right? In the industry that I'm in taxes and financial services, but also I have a junk removal business. And I'm going to admit, in this junk removal business, we remove and clean out a lot of Black family houses. A lot of families who have sold their family's property, who have sold their grandma's house, who has sold their mother's house, their father's house, whatever, right? And everyone has the right to sell property and houses as you wish, right? That's your right. That's your prerogative, right? That's your God-given right as a human being. But I want to say this, and I want to leave you all with this, right? And then if you want to discuss it, we can. I haven't really been on here in a minute, but I'm not going to be on real long today. I want some of you all to start thinking like this. If every time it's an opportunity for you to sell something and make money off of it, but it takes away from you being able to pass that down to the next generation, or it takes away from you having an actual asset that you can maintain, to me, that's an issue. And that's something I feel like that we need to start having more conversations about, especially on my channel. That's one of the things that I'm at. After April, I'll be able to slow down a little bit with the taxes. And in May is when we're doing the first podcast series here, right? My channel and page, I'm more focusing on content that brings you all awareness and kind of has you more thinking outside of the box. Because also I know a lot, we only talk about one way of buying homes, right? And one of the main ways that we always only talk about buying homes is going through the regular standard process, right? Going through finding you a real filing you a lender, going through the lender application, seeing how much you can get approved for based off of your income, right? But I want to share something with you all, a quick story of unconventional ways. I like to call these unconventional ways to acquire land, property, etc. Right? You don't always have to go and buy a $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 house, right? Today, with today's market, that's where a lot of these houses are being sold at, right? 250, 300, 350, 400,000 is kind of where they're starting, right? But I want you all to think a little bit outside the box. And I'm going to just share with you how I acquired one of my properties. Actually, how I acquired my family house. Let's just start with that. I've shared this before. One of the ways that you all can acquire property is several ways. It's not just going and get a brand new mortgage on a property, right? You can buy property that's already in foreclosure. You can buy property that's on tax lien and tax deed list and sales. Okay. You can buy property and actually take over payments from somebody, especially if it's a family member. All right. So I'm gonna share the family member that I bought my family house back. There was a family member living in that property. At this point, they were older, a senior, right? So as you get older and when you're living by yourself as a senior, it could be harder to maintain a property, a single family house in a basement, attic, all of that, right? You got to deal with property upkeep, getting somebody to come clean it during snow removal, stuff like that, right? So the older our parents and grandparents get, the harder sometimes it becomes for them to maintain the property, especially if you aren't involved with helping them, deal with it, right? So one of the ways that you can do, similar to what I did, that family member had that our family, that property that I'm talking about, my family has had that property probably at least over 80 years. The family before us actually happened to be a relative. We didn't even know that, right? The family who bought that property first was a relative of mine. Then my family member ended up getting that property and acquiring that property. And he has paid that mortgage for the last 25 years. I'm 43. So we moved into that property, when I was a teenager. So from being a teenager to now, to fast forward present time, that property was in the family, right? It was a family-owned property. So I reached out and I was like, hey, if you feel like, at any time you want to get rid of this property, let me know. Right. And sometimes this is what we have to do. Sometimes we have to say something because our elders, sometimes they just, I don't want to say it's ego, but sometimes they don't want to be vulnerable to say, hey, I need help. Or, hey, I can't afford this. Or, hey, this is too much for me right now. Right. Because you all have to remember with property, you have property taxes. So your mortgage could be one thing, but if your taxes go up, which is happening, especially in Chicago, if your taxes continually go up, then a lot of times people can no longer afford that property because your mortgage could be one payment, but your mortgage increases because of your taxes. The society and the system that we live in America, you never really own anything. You can buy your car and pay for your car, and guess what? You're going to still have car insurance that you got to keep up. You can buy your house and pay for it outright and own your house, but guess what? Now you have to pay homeowners insurance and taxes. So the system in America was never built and set up for you to own anything. Not completely, right? It's always been set up for you to work, be a worker, live check to check, not really understand money, finances. This is why they don't talk to y'all about taxes, credit, business in school, right? This is why you learn none of that stuff. Everything that we really use in real life, you were never taught that in the American education system. It's all a system. It's all set up, right? So tonight, I'm just going to share this unconventional way. We talk about land and ownership and building Black wealth, but how do we get there? What does that look like? What can we do to actually acquire this wealth, this land, this property, right? And so today, what I'm sharing with you is as a group, as a organization, right? Dearborn Realtors Board is hosting Building Black Wealth, which is our community day. We are hosting in 50 in over 100 cities across this nation. There will be people in different cities talking about the same thing that we're talking about, which is educating our communities on property, ownership, land, right? Businesses, credit workshops, education. I have to confirm if we have our trust and estate planner, but we have different workshops set up for you all that are completely free. Normally, these will be professionals that will probably charge you to speak to them. Right now, you have the opportunity to get into a room, get into a classroom, talk to a professional, talk to an attorney, talk to a lender, talk to whoever we have there as resources for you, right? This is completely free to the community. All right. Saturday, April 12th, 9:30 a.m. We will open the doors. We will shut down about 3:30 p.m. That entire day, we have things going on for you. We have different workshops. We have food trucks that are there. We have vendors that are there. We will have lenders on site. We will have everything that you need to be able to learn the different information that you need to learn. So what I'm asking you all who are watching this video is, we come on here and we come on this internet and you share all type of stuff. I see so many different posts and a lot of this stuff be bogus, it's negative. Y'all will share fighting videos. Y'all will share the funniest meme. But when we put something on here that's actually going to help you, that's actually going to empower you, that's actually going to enlighten you and make you think bigger and get outside of your small mindset of wherever you are in life, right? When we put this type of stuff out here, it rarely gets shared. So that's the reason why I'm on here on Saturday, the week before, pushing and asking you all to share this information. If you're not a homeowner, don't want to be a homeowner, great. It may be somebody in your circle or maybe somebody in Chicago on Facebook that could see this and say, I need to be there, right? You'll hear radio advertisement. We're running radio advertisement right now on V103. We are running different advertisements to let you all know that, hey, we are here. We have come together as an organization, as a community. We are putting the money out and footing the bill and paying for all of this because this costs. This is free to you, but this costs us to put together. It costs us to bring these people here. It costs us to pay for the event space. It costs us everything. It costs us money. thousands of dollars. Let's be clear, multiple thousands of dollars. Okay, 5 figures. Okay. So when we are putting these things together, we need the actual community, all right, to show up, to share this information, to pass it along. Because the other thing that you all do, especially as Black people, is you are real quick to share something negative, somebody fighting, somebody on here acting up. If I was talking about Real Housewives of Atlanta, I would have 1,000 people on here in my comments ready to go, right? So that's my other issue with us as a whole, is when you get people who do the work, you get people who put their life, their livelihood, because all of us are volunteers. None of us that work for Dearborn, none of us that are a part of Dearborn Association, Dearborn Realtors Board, none of us are paid. We are all nonprofit individuals. Okay. So when you see the president, the vice president, me, the secretary, we're out hosting these events, creating these events, funneling these events. We're taking time out of our day. I'm taking time out of my business. I'm losing money at some point during this tax season because this is tax season for me. But every phone call that I get on, that I'm talking to somebody about being a part of Community Day, that's what's worth it for me, because we're trying to push this information to the people who always complain, there's no resources, there's no this, there's no that. Well, there's a lot of resources. There's a lot of information. You all just don't share it. You're so used to sharing the negativity. You're so used to sharing the social media, memes and the BS and whatever else. But when it comes to some real information that's going to help you, build you, empower you, you rarely share that. So I'm asking you, if you can share this video with someone, share this video on your feed, share this video on your Facebook, share this video in a group. Sharing is caring. Sharing a post does nothing to you, doesn't hurt you. I'm not asking you to come. I'm not asking you to attend if that's not what you want to do, right? But what I am asking you to do is to share this information because it's free. And we do not have many events where we have an entire group of people come together, put together something like this to where we are educating you. And we're not asking you for anything. We're not asking you to buy nothing at the end. We're not asking to sell you tickets. We're literally coming out and giving you this information, you, the community, okay? Chicago is the third biggest, largest city in the United States. My goal being chair for this event for Community Day is to have 2,500 families come through there, right? Last year, we had over 600 people show up. Amazing. Great. This year, I want to double, triple that number because it doesn't make any sense how we cannot have 2,500 people come through. You don't got to stay the whole day. Come through. Get this free information, right? The biggest thing is the morning. The morning is where we're going to have the Men Buy Houses panel. If you all are not familiar with Lutalo McGee, who is actually the president of the Realtor Association, that big, nice Realtor building that you see downtown on Michigan Avenue. With the next president, after Michelle, who was an African-American woman, we have a African-American male president getting ready to be over the Realtor Nation, Association of Realtors. That's big. Okay. Lutalo will be there, taking time out of his day to be on that panel to talk to you all. Corey Singleton is amazing. This brother has done so much behind the scenes. He's a very humble behind the scenes person, similar to the other young man I'm getting ready to introduce, Sean Jones. All of these men are powerhouses in the city of Chicago. All of these men are men who are men of excellence, men with integrity, men with businesses. Okay. It's beautiful to see Black men as business owners. I need you men, I need you brothers to come out. I need you to come hear how they are in real estate, how they are developing. Sean Jones is redeveloping the entire South Side for us. Okay. This man has put up buildings, multiple 3-unit buildings within Inglewood that has raised our property value. He is selling property at $800,000 and over $1 million. Like, that's unheard of on the south side of Chicago, especially near Inglewood. Off of 63rd and Cottage Grove. Did you all ever think that you would see a property sold for $800,000, and it's more than 800. I want to say $849,000 to be exact. When have you all ever seen a property sale in Inglewood for $849,000? Right now, this is a new build. This is a developer. He is taking time out of his day because we asked him and reached out, and he said, yes, I will do it. Corey said, yes, I will do it. All right. So the black men, if anything, I need y'all to really show up. That panel is in the morning, 10 a.m., about 11 a.m. Okay. About 11 a.m. will be the Men Buy Houses panel. And then we also have the Don't Sell Grandma's House. Don't sell Big Mama's house, right? That is very important, you all. We have to start having these conversations on how you all are able to keep your family property. Your family property should not be going into probate. Once grandma or granddaddy pass, and that will means nothing if you don't have it in a formal trust, okay? If none of you know that, a will is null and void when you die. Okay. So your family could argue all day about whatever property you own, whatever shoes, hats grandma had, right? All of that will now go into probate court, all because you only had a will or you didn't have anything. Right? So we have to have these conversations. How do we do that? How do we keep that? How do we save that? Right? Thank you, Tia, for sharing. I just want you to share it. Right? Even if you can't be in Chicago, share it, because it might be somebody in Chicago that you know, girl, right? Right? So thank you, Tia, right? But I'm not gonna hold y'all long tonight, because like I said, I can go into it. I can go all into it. But I wanted to at least finish giving my example, because I cut off on that. That's what I was sharing with y'all. So basically, with my family house that I grew up in, I was able to take over the payments. So instead of my family member having to deal with selling the house to me, all of this other stuff, doing that, it made more sense. And I'm going to say this, and this is what I'm going to tell y'all. These are these unconventional ways of us getting and acquiring the property, right? So when I bought the house, when I took over the payments, let's say the end of 2019, I think I took over the house like the end of 2019, like December 2019, going right into 2020, right into 2020. What we did was, because the family member was a senior and over 70, what I did was I paid the money to get it out of the foreclosure process, right? That's the beautiful thing, is when you have a mortgage and if it's in foreclosure, you can take that property out. You can get that property out of foreclosure before it actually goes to court, okay? Let's say I had to pay like, I don't know, I think I had to pay like almost $10,000 to get that property out of the foreclosure process. Once we were able to get it out of the foreclosure process, because the family member was over 70, I can now utilize their income, their Social Security income. So their Social Security income, when you have a senior that is doing a home modification, listen clearly. When you have a senior that is doing a home modification, they are going to give them one of the lowest rates ever. All right. Now, this was back in the end of 2019. Let me say that. Right now, rates may be higher. We're in 2025. All right. So again, the example that I'm giving with you is from 5 years ago, right? But guess what? Corey Singleton, who will be on the panel Saturday, shared a video because he has a company, and let's say this, black owned. A lot of you all deal with and hear of mortgage companies, but Corey Singleton owns a black-owned mortgage company, Inspire Mortgage. Just the way you can go to Chase and get a mortgage, the way you can go to BMO and get a mortgage, you can go to a black-owned company to get your mortgage. I want to say he's in Illinois, Indiana, and Texas. All right. If you want the information, I can come back later and comment it on the videos. I'll tag Corey, but I love Corey. Corey is a beast, okay, when it comes to this real estate game and industry. And he is very quiet and humble. But a lot of deals that you all have seen in Chicago, I bet you Corey was probably a part of it, all right? So with that, I took advantage of that person. Let me not say that. I didn't take advantage of that person, but I took advantage that the family member was older, right? Because they're over 70, I knew that they would look at their Social Security income because they don't have a job. They're retired. So once they retire, most of your parents and grandparents are only going to have either retirement or Social Security income. Okay. What I did was I took advantage of that information, knowing that being a homeowner and buying a house before, but also being in a circle of realtors, lenders, people who are in real estate shared that information with me again, right? So what I did was we modified and we had the bank, the mortgage company do a modification. The property, let's say I think the original mortgage was like $1,600. And then it went up because the taxes went up in that area. So now that family member is like, this is a lot, because you all have to remember, with a house, you have outside of your mortgage, you still have to pay your rent. I mean, not your rent. You have to pay your ComEd, your light, your water bill. That adds up, right? When you in a house and an apartment are two different things. So an apartment, your ComEd bill may be $20. Your people's gas bill in an apartment may be $50. But when you go to a house, right, a multi room house, multi-level, you're dealing with a basement, you're dealing with an attic, you're dealing with the first level. You know, a house is completely different than an apartment. So your bills are higher. So in the wintertime in Chicago, somebody ComEd bill or people's gas bill could easily be $300-400. That could be a lot for a senior, right? So this family member was like, okay, this is a lot. I'm ready. I'm ready to move. I got my place already. What you want to do? So this is what I did. We modified the loan first. That took the mortgage payment from about $1,600 all the way down to about $500. Yes, an $1,100 difference. Okay, we went from $1,600 to $500 because we modified it based off of their current income at that time. Remember, the property and the mortgage was gotten when I was a kid, when I was 15. You get what I'm saying? So a lot of times too, when you all don't know and understand certain things, and this is why we host these different things. This is why we're hosting Community Day. So we can talk about things like this for the African American community. Now, of course, this is for everybody that wants to show up, but we want to be clear. We are hosting this Community Day to specifically talk to people who look like us to build Black wealth, because Black wealth and Black home ownership is extremely low. In 2025, there is no reason why we should have this low of home ownership and why we should have this low of Black wealth as a whole. And the reason why, I already know the reason why. Y'all know the reason why too. You're not paying attention. You're not putting your money where you really should be putting your money. Y'all want to buy bags and Louis and Gucci and labels, and y'all want to pay for their trust funds because that's all you're doing. You don't have a trust fund, but you're paying for Louis and Gucci trust fund. You don't have a trust fund, but you're paying for Jordan trust fund, buying Jordans and whatever else. You are buyers. You are consumers as a whole. Okay? You are not savers. You are not investors. And that's the problem. And I'm going to talk about it. And I'm going to say something. Okay? I'm going to talk about it. And I'm going to talk about it all this week up until next Saturday, April 12th. Because if we don't have the turnout on April 12th that I want to see from the city of Chicago, oh, baby, I'm going to go in on y'all on every post that I see. If it's negative that you sharing, if you talking some crap about the administration, the government, Trump, all this other stuff, but if you can't come out to get some resources to learn how to build yourself, how to build your wealth, how to build your community, how to get into community, right? If you want to stay in a negative mindset all the time, you want to share everything that's negative, you want to talk about everything that's negative, well, guess what? Nothing's going to ever happen in life. Nothing. You have to be reprogrammed. Y'all share everything that's negative and ignorant and fighting and shootouts and all type of stuff. So the thing I'm asking you to do on this Saturday is to share this video on your platform. Share this video on your social media, Facebook, the same way that I got people to share. And I had 30,000 views of me saying Hyde Park, we can't build no more. I need that same type of energy. When I made that post, Hyde Park, we can't build no more. That post got over, I don't know how many views, over 30,000 views and over like 500 some shares. I need that type of energy. Okay. I need that type of energy when we giving you free resources, when we bring in people to your neighborhood and to your community to empower you. All right. I need that. I need y'all to put that same energy into positive things, into resources that are going to help us. The same energy that you put into those negative things, I need you to put energy into the positive. So that's what I'm asking you to do today. I have 26,000 followers on Facebook. If every single one of y'all shared this video, then we will surpass our goal of reaching 2,500 families. That's my personal goal. NARAB's goal was 1,000. My personal goal is to reach over 2,500 families this upcoming Saturday, April 12th, 9 a.m., 9:30 a.m. We'll open the doors at 9:30 a.m. At Olive Harvey College. All right. And that's it. Like, I'm not going to go all back into everything, but that's it. I was able to take over my family house. I was able to acquire the property, get it back, and my mortgage is only $500. My name is not on the mortgage. That person's name is still on the mortgage, okay? All I did was sign a legal document having that family member do a quick claim deed to sign that document, to sign that house over to me. So now I have legal right and ownership over that property, okay? That's all you need. That's it. So now if something happens to that family member, I don't have to go to court. I don't have to do nothing because I own that property based off of that deed. All right. So the mortgage people don't care who paying the property. The mortgage just want the mortgage paid. I've been paying the mortgage for the last 5 years. And guess what I found out from Corey Singleton, being with Inspire Mortgage? The fact that I've been paying this property for the last 5 years out of my business bank account, because that's also what I didn't talk to y'all about. I didn't have him sign the property over to me individually, Patrice Stewart. The property is not in my name, Patrice Stewart. The property is to my property management company. So we put my property management company on the deed, signed the deed over to my property management company, and then now my property management company pays the mortgage. Guess what? My property management company also gets to write that as a tax write-off and deduction because it's a business. This is an investment. I'm not living in the property. There's a tenant in the property. Okay. So again, when we talking business, when we talking strategy, when we talking taxes, when we talking investment, when we talking wealth building, there are several moving parts to this. There's not a one size fit all to this. The way my situation went down does not mean that your situation gonna go down the same way. But guess what? Just because I'm sharing it and talking to you about it, this is a conversation that you can now have with your individuals. This is a conversation that you can ask your lender or your real estate agent or your grandmother or grandfather or mother or father and say, hey, do you have a trust set up? Do you have a will in place? But I need you all to know and understand, a will alone by itself does not maintain property or assets. You can still go to probate court with a will. Why? Because when you die, that will is null and void. We don't discuss this. We don't talk about this enough. Okay? You can come out to Community Day on Saturday, April 12th, and you can have an attorney talk to you a little more about that. You can learn more information about that. But I wanted to share that because that was a non-conventional way that I acquired my family house that's been in my family for over 80 years. That property has been in my family for over 80 years. I haven't lived in that property since I was 17. But mentally, my mind went immediately, why in the hell would I allow the bank to foreclose and take over that property when he paid that property mortgage for 25 years? That makes no sense. And a lot of you all are allowing your family's properties to go to be sold, to taxes, to be just given away, to go in foreclosure for a little bit of money. Because my balance on that property is only $39,000. Today, that property is worth about $220,000. So If I wanted to sell that property today, the mortgage balance on it is $39,000. I will walk away with a profit, wouldn't I, if I wanted to sell it? But I'm not selling it because it means something to me being in the family for 80 years. I don't want to just sell it because, oh, I can make 200,000. 200,000 ain't nothing to me. It makes it, to me, it means more value for me to hold on to it and pass that property down to allow somebody else maybe in it. I can keep it and maintain it and own it, but I can rent that property out. And a lot of times you all, when I had this conversation with you, that's what some people say. Well, I don't want to live there. Who said you had to live there? You selling your grandmama house because you don't want to live there? That doesn't make sense. Do y'all know what our grandparents and great-grandparents went through to even be able to get a piece of property? Do you know how they were redlined? Do you know how here in the city of Chicago, did y'all know that the Dan Ryan was built to separate us? We didn't have it. Our grandparents didn't grow up with the Dan Ryan. The Dan Ryan came later on when they were redlining our grandparents, our ancestors, and making them live on the west side and making them live in South Shore and making them live on you couldn't go past 35th. That's why we had the Ickies, the Ida B. Wells. All of that was redline for Black people. And now those of y'all, because now y'all are in part of society, because y'all are part of white people's society. Now y'all are letting go your family properties because you want to go up north, or you want to go to the suburbs, or now you think that you bigger and better, and now you okay with just selling off your family property, not knowing the blood, sweat, and tears that it took to get here. Okay? Let's talk about that. So no, I'm not going to sell my family property because it means something to me. Now, when I buy the next property, cool, I'll flip that, but I'm not selling my family property because I'm going to keep that in the family. But the second property that I invested in, I don't care about that. I'll sell that any day. That property doesn't mean anything to me. But I'm going to make sure that my family house stay in the family, right? And that's literally it. But I need some of you all to get out of that mindset of what I don't want to do. I don't want to do this and I don't want to do that. Well, guess what? I didn't want to do a lot of stuff that I did, but I sacrificed. Because at the end of the day, it's not about what I want. It's about what makes sense for me and my family and what makes sense for me to be able to pass down. And I don't have kids, and a lot of y'all do. So I'm not passing nothing down because I don't have no kids to leave it to. But a lot of you all have kids and you're not passing them nothing down but debt. Right? So we need to have these conversations, right? We need to have these conversations. Because for me, I spent less than $10,000, bought the property, got the property back, right? We modified the loan to get the mortgage from $1,600 down to $500. My mortgage is exactly $498. Let's be clear. And that's with, that's with taxes, interest, and taxes and PITI. That's all four. Payment, interest, taxes, insurance. All four. $498 is what that mortgage is on that property. Because I was strategic with how I acquired it. And you all should not be automatically acquiring every property in your name either. You should have an actual company set up. You should actually have an LLC set up, or a corporation, or whatever you're going to have set up. You should have an entity set up to buy your property. Whole nother other story. I'm not on here to give you all the game. I'm just giving you some tips so you can understand something. All right. But it's ways to do this, to acquire the property, to get funding and financing for the property, because there's also loans that you all can get. You can learn about that again on Saturday. BMO Bank has a $30,000 down payment assistance program. 30,000, 30, 5 figures, okay? 30,000. NHS got like 15, 20,000. G-Rate, they're going to be there. Joy, she's going to be there. Sharon, I don't know her exact amount offhand, so I'm not going to say it. But a lot of these banks have down payment assistance program. And a lot of you all have been on your jobs for 10, 15, 20 years. And a lot of y'all be thinking it's real hard to buy a house. And the home buying process is really not as hard as you think it is. If you've been on your job and you're paying, if you can afford to pay rent, then you can afford to pay a mortgage. Simple as that. If you can afford to pay your rent and you have a job and you're working and you have been on that job more than 2 years, all you need is 2 years worth of taxes. And some lenders only require 1 year worth of taxes. Minimum credit score of 580, but you get the best deals and offers with a 640 credit score. That's not obtainable. That's not obtainable, right? Y'all could literally probably have a house within the next 30 days and you don't even know it. Because it's help out here. It's funding. There's money available that you can go and get to help buy the property, to put down for down payment assistance. And the thing that I like with BMO's $30,000 down payment assistance is if you don't use all of that money for the down payment, let's say you needed $10,000 for down payment, and let's say you had $20,000 left over, they put that $20,000 on your loan. So if you bought a $200,000 house and you got approved for the $30,000 with BMO and you only needed 10 at closing, they're going to send that $20,000 to your mortgage company, baby. If y'all are not getting this information and buying houses and land in these next 4 years while you on here complaining on this internet about a damn president, but you're not on here to come and get this game, get this information, you ain't ready. And this is really what I'm on here to talk to y'all about, because I've been wanting to say this to y'all for a long time on here. I'll be trying to stay out of it and not get political with y'all because a lot of y'all be so in your feelings. The moment that you mention Trump, y'all just go through the roof emotionally, and you have no mental capacity anymore, right? These 3 things that you learn, if you learn this, yes, BMO, correct. Yes, ma'am. They have a $30,000 home buyer assistance program, down payment assistance program. If you available, come out on Saturday, April 12th. You can learn all about it. They will explain it in detail. What was I getting ready to say? These 3 things. I got both hands up, so it looked like I'm saying 6, but these 3 things: taxes, credit, and business. Black America. This is my public service announcement to Black America. Taxes, credit, and business. I don't want you to focus on nothing else on this damn internet. I don't want to see on Facebook y'all on here complaining, running y'all mouth, talking about this damn presidency, talking about any of this crap. If you're not focused on credit, taxes, and business. Those 3 things changed my entire life. I am living the life that I am living right now because I got out of society. I got out of watching TV, being on social media, keeping that negative bullshit in my face. I let go of reality TV. I quit watching Real Housewives of Atlanta in 2018 because real women with money don't fight on the internet. Let's be clear. Real Black women with money do not fight on the internet. That's not something that real women with money do. Been in too many rooms with millionaires. Real millionaires don't fight on the internet. Let's be clear. Real millionaires ain't on no damn TV acting up and showing out and being disrespectful to each other as Black women. Real women, real boss ass women, which is why I hope Candy finally left. Because again, I don't watch the show, so I wouldn't be able to tell you. But hopefully Candy finally left because she's a real boss on there. Real boss women don't do that, right? So when you decide to get out of the matrix, because the matrix right now that you all are in, the matrix is real. Right now, the Black community, y'all are stuck on the red and the blue pill. Y'all are stuck on the red and the blue pill. And the red and the blue pill is what? Republican and Democrat. That's what y'all problem is. Republican and Democrat. You are too focused being locked into a Democratic Party who gives 2 shits about you. City of Chicago, we have been a Democratic Party for 60 years. And how does your neighborhoods look, Black community? You have 20 Black aldermen. All 20 Black aldermen wards look like Gary, Indiana. So what I'm not going to do is get on this internet and go back and forth with y'all about no type of politics, because neither one is going to come and save you and do nothing for you. Let's be clear. Kamala and Biden wasn't coming to save you. And definitely Nobody else is coming to save you. Okay. So what does that mean? That means it's up to us as communities of our own to pull up ourselves out of our bootstraps and start utilizing the system. Once you learn the system, there's nothing to be upset about. I don't get on this internet and get mad about no damn Republican or Democrat because I learned the system. And guess what? When you learn the system, it really doesn't matter what president is in office. It really doesn't. Because when you live outside of the matrix, like I do, I'm not a part of the matrix like many of you all are. When you live outside of the matrix, you live a very free life. You live a very free life, a very carefree life. Guess what? It's called, what's the term I want to say? I say it to y'all all the time. It's on the tip of my tongue. Why can I not think about it right now? It's on the tip of my tongue. I say this to y'all all the time. Survival mode. When you live in survival mode, all you thinking is, oh, how I'm gonna do this, how I'm gonna pay this. When you live in survival mode, you emotionally controlled. That's why you all are so controlled emotionally when somebody get on this internet and say something about Trump and you don't like it, because you are emotionally controlled. You live in survival mode. When you live in survival mode, you don't know how to think clearly. You always looking behind you trying to figure out, or that's why y'all busting so many moves and getting in trouble with these different PPP loans and all this other stuff, because you in survival mode. When you're not in survival mode, baby, you will be powerful because you could think. You can get off of the damn red and the blue pill. No Democrat is coming to save you. None. Black people. I can't speak on the Republican Party because most of us have never been Republicans. That's what Zoe, my girl Zoe, always say. Well, we done been Democrats for 60 years. Now they're going to go and see what Republicans do. And I said, hey, Zoe, I love you, more power to you, but I ain't with that. I would rather use my energy and my time to empower Black people on information and independence. Because I'm not a Republican and I'm not a Democrat. I'm independent because I think independently. I have an independent mind. I don't do groupthink. I'm not following all of the reality TV shows. I'm not watching every news clip. The media has a lot of y'all brainwashed and controlled with what they even putting out here. Y'all don't even really know the facts because y'all getting upset off of a title of a post. Y'all getting upset off of a 15-second clip. Y'all not even going to do no fact checking. Y'all not even going to do no real research to see nothing. Everything that you on this internet, especially Facebook, I'm really talking to you. Everybody that's on this internet and all of y'all are riled up. Y'all don't even know why y'all really riled up, because y'all just listening and posting and reposting and resharing somebody else's info. No one is coming to save you, Black community. No political party is coming to save you. So guess what? You have to do it yourself. And what does that look like? That looks like credit, taxes, and business. Because once all of you all are financially put together, once you got your credit up, once you learn business and how to start a business, I'm going to teach you that. Once you learn the system and how the American system is not a democracy. You don't live in a democracy. That's, again, the false narrative that they love to show with y'all and play with y'all. You don't live in a democracy. America is a corporation. Okay? Your forefathers who claim to have started this country, right? We're all business owners. So the business tax laws in this country will make you feel like you're doing something illegal. Because the way that the business tax laws in this country are written, game over. And that's what they don't want you all to know. That's why you're not taught business. That's why you're not taught entrepreneurship. That's why you're not taught taxes and credit. Why are your kids not learning taxes and credit in grammar school, in high school? Why do they have no finance classes? And we spend money every single day. It's a system. This entire system was built on a system to keep you down, to keep you in a rut, to keep you arguing with each other on the internet, to keep your mind all cluttered, because so many of y'all are brainwashed. You have taken the red and the blue pill. That's the Matrix. That's the Matrix. Go back and watch the old Matrix movie. Red or blue pill? Which pill you want? Red pill, blue pill. Red pill, blue pill. And all of y'all have taken it. And so now today, this is all I see on my internet every time I get on here. Now that after January 6th has happened, right? Every time I get on here, this is all I see. But I'm going to tell y'all. The information is there. But I don't think many of you really want to change. I think a lot of you like the negativity. I think a lot of you like the poverty mindset. I think a lot of you just want to complain and never really do nothing. That's my opinion. That's my opinion from what I see living in a big city, living in the third biggest city in the United States, living in the city of Chicago, and being in financial services for going on 23 years now. Seeing people, taxes, businesses, seeing what you spend your money on, seeing what you don't spend your money on, seeing what's in foreclosure, seeing what's not in foreclosure. The proof is in the pudding as to who's really doing the work around here. And then the proof is also in the pudding as to who's on the internet wasting their time talking and arguing and being mad all day. So which one you going to put your energy to? Both are hard. Which hard do you want? I would rather have a harder of me trying and doing whatever I know I need to do to build my life up than me on the internet mad and complaining all day. That ain't going to do nothing either. So you got to choose your hard. Which one you want? You want to build something and leave something to your family? You want to build something and leave something for your kids? You want to get out of poverty? You want to actually have something? You want to actually go on trips and vacations when you want to? You want to actually experience life without feeling weighed down and boggled down every second? And then I'm going to get his last question. My last statement or question is, those of you ladies who are able-bodied citizens, okay? Able-bodied, that's the main thing, able-bodied. And you are able to work. And you have multiple children. And you are on Section 8 or any type of government assistance. Do you really want to be there your entire life? Do you really want to be dependent on the government your entire life? Because at this point, we have generations. I have 4 and 5 generation of cousins that have been on assistance. And a lot of them can work, right? But do you want to limit your life and your income to a small check? I had to have this conversation with a client in here earlier today. I told her, you're not going to get a refund back this year because this is what you made. And she laughed about it, but I actually said something to her about it, right? She was like, oh, I got to cut my hours. And I'm glad she was joking, right? I'm glad that she was joking because I would have canceled her as a client. And that's what I told her. I said, I know you joking, but I want you to know I have fired clients for saying that. And she didn't believe me. You know, she was like, what? I ain't gonna say she didn't believe me, but she was shocked. Let me say that. She was shocked to hear me say that. She was like, Patrice, are you for real? I was like, I'm dead serious. Dead serious. And she was like, well, why would you fire them? I said, because of where I am and in my life and in my aura, in my space, in my business, I don't have time for clients that want to dummy themselves down and lower themselves down. I'm in a space where we're in building, we're empowering, right? I'm not limiting my income. So why would I work with somebody who wants a limited income and a limited mindset? I know, mama, I'm coming. My mama calling like, hello. Let me tell her I'm gonna call her back. I told her I would bring her food. I ended up getting on live. Hold on, y'all. All right, so now I gotta finish this up because my mama calling. Am I back on Facebook? It looked like I went away a little bit. Okay, hopefully I'm back, Facebook. Facebook, am I still here? It look like I'm gone. Can y'all hear me? It look like I'm gone, but I'm gonna finish out my sentence. It look like I'm gone. Community Day. Okay, I must still be on. All right, what was I getting ready to say? Oh, that's what I was saying. So I was sharing with a client today that I had another lady come in last year that said that, but she was dead serious, right? When she said that she was gonna cut her hours for her employer because she wasn't getting any taxes. And that's a poverty mindset. This is what I'm talking about when I say that, right? If your mindset is okay, there I go. I hit the wrong button. If your mindset is I'm on Section 8 or I'm on government assistance and my employer is starting to pay me more money and I better cut my hours so I can stay on this link in government assistance. That's a poverty mindset. All right. That's the example. That's what I was trying to give you all. That's the example of a poverty mindset. When you start making more money on your job, you're supposed to. You're an adult. You're grown. If you're 40, you should be making more money, right? You shouldn't be at still $40,000. You should be at 60, 70, 80, 100, 90, 100,000, right? So the goal is to not dummy your income down to stay on government assistance because that limits you. Because you can't make money outside of that income, right? When you on government assistance, they want you to stay under a certain income. So if now you are making enough money where, okay, they may make you pay a little more in rent, then that's good. That means you're progressing in life, right? The worst thing in the world is for you all to stay on a $2,000, let's say you're getting $2,000 a month. That's only $24,000. If you open up your mindset and you're willing to come out and you're willing to listen and get this free information that we'll be sharing with you on Saturday, April 12th at Olive Harvey College, 9:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. April 12th, Saturday, okay? We will have a numerous amount of resources there. And for free, we're not charging you anything. We're just asking you to register so we can know who's coming, right? But show up. You can register on site. But if you could learn that you can make, let's say you get that $2,000 a month, that's $24,000 a year. Y'all can, depending on what you want to do, this is not for everybody, but this is depending on what you want to do, where you see yourself in life. But do you know you could be making that every month? Do you know that you could be making $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 every single month? I'm in circles with people who making $1 million a month, $250,000 a month, $500,000 a month. It's not unrealistic. It's only unrealistic when you don't believe it can happen. It's only unrealistic when you don't have no vision and you just tunnel vision and you think like this. But if you could see that the sky is unlimited, baby, there is no limit to your income. That's why I'm self-employed. There's no cap on my income. When I did work for BMO in 2013, I was only making $40,000. I was only making $40,000 in 2013. When I left, when I got fired, let's be clear, when I got fired and I did not go back to corporate America and I bet on myself, I bet on me, Patrice L. Stewart, and this mind that God gave me, and this mind that my bloodline got flowing through me, my grandmother, my father, the people that I had in my life, knowing what they put in me, I bet on myself I made $100,000 by the end of that year. I've shared that with y'all. $97,833 to be exact. $98,733 to be exact. $98,733 to be exact. in 6 months, not even a whole year. So that was back in 2013. So I was allowing a corporate job to pay me $40,000 for the whole year. That's not including your taxes coming out, federal, health insurance, state. So bring it home. You probably bring it home 32, 33,000. Okay? 6 months. I damn near tripled my income betting on me, betting on this mind, this brain here. It's not impossible. If you can think it and believe it, it can happen. You can do it. But what you do have to do is you have to separate yourself, which is why I had to separate myself from people. I had to separate myself from family. I had to separate myself from so-called friends. I had to separate from the masses of the matrix and the blue pill and the red pill. And when you do that, and you, God, your faith, whoever you believe in, is going to lead you. It's going to lead you to higher pastures. It's going to lead you to a better place. It's going to lead you to opening yourself up and understanding who you are and the bloodline that you got running through your veins because your ancestors built this damn country. Hello? So some of you all need that reminder, and some of us, entrepreneurship is that reminder. Some of y'all, sometimes buying that house back, buying that family house back, buying that property, buying that investment is that reminder. So let me help you get up out the matrix. Come out on Saturday, April 12th, Olive Harvey College, 9:30 a.m. to 3 o'clock p.m. We also are giving you all continental breakfast. It's first come, first serve. You want some coffee? You want some juice? You want some donuts? Show up at 9 o'clock. Show up at 9 a.m. We'll feed you. Food trucks will be on site. We're going to pay for your first meal. We're giving you everything. We're literally giving you everything. We're not asking you for $1. So I need Chicago to show up. Period. No excuses. I'm out. YouTube. Oh, aesthetics guru, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your tip. I appreciate you. And I'm gonna start asking y'all. If y'all felt like I gave you some knowledge or you learned something on here, tip my page and my channel. It definitely helps me. It definitely helps me. Every dollar counts because I more than likely am gonna give it to somebody else with all of the pro bono that we do around here. But yeah, I gotta go because my mom is calling me, so I have to go. But I'll be back on tomorrow, giving you all something. Tomorrow is Saturday. I'm sorry, tomorrow is Sunday. Which I've kind of created this segment called Economic Church. And one of my YouTube followers gave me that name. I don't remember who you are, but you gave me Economic Church. One of y'all commented in one of my videos and said, Patrice, I feel like you give us Economic Church. I'm going to utilize that name, but whoever you were, I want you to reach out to me. And I want you to comment on one of these videos and tell me who you were because you gave me that name in the comments. Economic Church. You said, Patrice, you give us Economic Church. Financial church, basically. I'm giving you some real knowledge and information, hitting you with some facts, hitting you with some things that's going to make you think. So that's what I'm going to call it when I come on Sundays. I'm going to start calling this Economic Church. All right. So I'm out. If y'all got questions, comments, you can put it on here. I can respond to you on the video. But again, if you in Chicago, I need you to come out. I need you to come out April 12th, Community Day, Olive Harvey College, 9:30 a.m. We will have Black Men Buy Houses. We will have Don't Sell Grandmama's House. We will have ABCs of Home Ownership. I will be talking to you individually. I'm not hosting any classes since I'm chairing the event. But if you want to talk more about what I said today or discussed about buying family houses back, property, all of that, just come up to me, have a little quick conversation with me while we're there, and we can get you connected with one of the attorneys that'll be there. All right. Y'all have a good night. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you, QO. He say, about time a woman sees the truth. All this emotional crap will leave you stuck. Exactly. That's their problem. They too damn emotional on the internet, and Facebook is the worst. YouTube, y'all got some real sense over here. Y'all are my real community. But I be having to tell Facebook because baby, they over there crashing out. All right, y'all, I'm out.